Right, the webinar started. The recording is in progress. Thank you very much for everyone who's on time, and I see everyone filling in into the arena of personalization. And this is what we're talking about today on Grip's next webinar, where we've got three incredible speakers. So the name of this webinar is the power of personalization, because in events, one size fits none. And so, we've got this old world where organizers often are moving from this mass communication world to a world of personalization, and often personalization using AI as well. And we have three absolute industry legends who are all over personalization, and I am going to get them to introduce themselves. Yes, exactly. They've all got massive brains. And I say that because we had our prep call, and always have a prep call for a webinar. As we all know, we're all in events. And when you have the prep, just those events are so much better. And honestly, this prep call could have gone on for 4 hours. It was so good. There's so much dynamite information here, and I can't wait for you to access it. So let's talk about the people who are on the lovely webinar. Who do we have? We have Dorota, and she is going to introduce herself in a minute. We've got Rachel, founder and CEO of Snöball, and we've got Gina as well, marketing manager of International Confex. So I'm not going to tell you all about them. I'm going to let them tell you about themselves, bit of a background to what they do. First of all, I'm going to hand over to Dorota, International Affairs at Grupa MTP. Grupa, tell us a bit about, sorry, Dorota, tell us a bit about you and what you do. I'm going straight to your name of your company. I've got it on the mind because we've recently done a case study with you guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good one. It's not out yet, but we're going to give you some sneak peeks into how they're using personalization, a particular event that Dorota is involved in. Dorota, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hugh. Welcome, everyone. It's really nice and thank you for the invitation to this webinar. It's my first time, so please be gentle with me with your feedback later. I work for Grupa MTP. We are based in Poznań, Poland. We are the organizer of the events, as well as the owner of the venue, as well as the host for the guest events that are coming to Poznań. My background is definitely in marketing. I started as the visitors communication consultant. Then I took over the visitors communications department at Grupa MTP, and I was responsible for preparing the marketing and communication strategies for visitors, for different events from different industries, from construction through heavy industry to automotive and even the hospitality sector. And yeah, personalization is and always has been actually one of my key way of thinking when designing the marketing strategies for my events. So I would be really happy to tell you about them later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And a round of applause for Dorota for her first ever webinar. Well done. We salute you. Right, on to the next one. Rachel, tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about Snöball and how you guys are using personalization.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invite. Before Snöball, I'm an event marketer. Started with an event marketing agency in 2001. It's been some time, so it's not my first rodeo. But in working with organizers and associations to help them grow their events and bring people to the events, because we're mainly in the marketing of events, not so much the experience, although I have some examples to share. Snöball was born out of a need and an opportunity that we saw in leveraging the people. So when we talk about personalization, it goes with the person, the humanizing, the content, and the marketing, and that's where Snöball was created with the need of mobilizing everybody who's part of the event to help grow the event and make it more personal to connect with other people. Like Gina was mentioning, like she's a team of one where she's working. So in most cases, we hear it a lot. Short, small teams, and that's one way to multiply and get people to be able to pass on the message and build on the trust from there. So that's where Snöball comes in to help organizers grow that and personalize their communication by putting a face to the name and the people who are going to be there. So thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Rachel. And now, last but not least, Gina, with probably the world's best Zoom background and all-round presentation. I'm so envious. I want my own video studio. Gina, tell us a bit about you.
Yes, so I've been in the industry for maybe 6 or 7 years, and I started off up north in Newcastle, where I'm from, and actually quit my job in events to pursue my degree in events management at the University of Greenwich. And while I was there, I kind of fell into working for Mash Media at the time as a student placement student, and did marketing, and then ended up doing the marketing for Exhibition News for 3 years. And then recently I actually switched over to become the marketing manager for International Confex about November 2024, about 4 or 5 months before it happened in February 2025. So that was definitely a really interesting baptism of fire in the best way, doing all of their marketing and also 6 of their content theatres. So yeah, that was definitely really interesting. So now I'm kind of in the process of sorting everything for 2026. So we've got new theatre names and lots of kind of applications that I'll go through with you guys about how I've kind of reinvigorated a lot of the marketing. And obviously, as Rachel said, I'm a team of one. So I'm not only doing all of the strategy, but also the planning and also all of the execution. So whatever I do has to be kind of very efficient and can't really fall behind in anything, as well as attending all the industry events that we do. So yeah, it's definitely kind of an interesting kind of balance between, much like Dorota, where she kind of balances actually doing the venue as well as the events. It's both. We do the publications as well as all the events for the events industry in the UK.
Wow, officially the most busiest person in events, one woman events machine. Fantastic. So those are our three lovely panelists. We also have some lovely questions from you guys, the audience. So you've sent through some brilliant, brilliant questions as part of your registration. If you still have some questions, please put them into the chat and I will get my lovely panelists to answer those for you as we go along. Right, I'm going to come to the first question of the day. And that question is very, very simple. It's like we always do it. It's basically like, I want a recipe for hummus, but it'll give you what's the origin of the chickpea? What's the origin of hummus itself? It's like, well, actually, we want to know what's the origin of personalization at events. So, Gina, I'm going to come to you first. What is event personalization and why should we care about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I started off in events, not even that long ago, compared to kind of the real history of it, a lot of the marketing was, and event marketing has been, just changing people's names, changing people's companies to kind of fit and to invite and to kind of connect. But now it's kind of making sure that our attendees, no matter where they're coming from and what they're doing, the event is built for them from the start before they kind of even get on site. So everything from the pre-event marketing with your website and your emails, to being on site for their content sessions and making sure that no matter how big or small your community is, that event feels personal to them. And it's all kind of rooted in context and data and empathy.
Great. And tell me a little bit about how you're doing it, because you were talking in the pre-call about, you've come up with 12 different audiences. I mean, that's blowing my mind. Tell me a bit about, day to day, how are you doing personalization for International Confex?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with kind of coming onto the event late in the day last year, well, I still think I'm in 2026, obviously. Last year's was in February, it wasn't that long ago. So actually a lot of the data that we got from the report that I did kind of showcased the main primary functions that we support in our community. So obviously with an event like Confex, yes, it is a lot of people with over 5,000 attendees. So we split that into company primary functions. So there's corporate event planners, there's associations, there's agencies, and then there's exhibition organizers. They're the four main kind of pillars of the MICE industry that we look after. And then from that, I then split it into seniority. just for this year. C-suite level, mid-level management, and then also executives, and that forms the 12 personas that we carry through into my planning of my marketing strategies. So I'll be doing, I'm in the middle of doing a lot of the redesigning of the website. So the website will get redesigned into building your own adventure. So they'll click whether or not they're corporate or association or, one of the 4 main primary functions. And that will bring up news that's been targeted to them. It'll bring up their content sessions when they go live. It'll bring up speakers and also the exhibitors and sponsors that's relevant to them that they want to engage with. And then the seniority level is more for social posts and for emailers, that when we're doing sessions on the keynote theatre about event management graduates, we can send that out to the 4 sets of the lower job scale on my matrix, so that when we're trying to do a lot of the email marketing, it's split into one of those 12 matrices, and I'm not sending kind of 1 email every week to a massive database. I'm sending maybe once every couple of weeks that's more tailored to them about. So I've got a summer reset guide that's more for middle management and lower event professionals, like executives. So that went out to them, but it's not as important for the executives and the higher level C-suite level to get. So kind of doing that side of things, and then also personalization in terms of changing our theatre names. So we've done a lot of analysis on our communities. So last year we had an association day 1 and corporates day 2, but we had more corporates than associations attend. So what we've done is we've done a brand experience lab for 2026, which will kind of combine agencies and corporates. And then we've also got a healthcare life sciences event forum on day 1, and then a fin and tech, finance and tech event forum on day 2, to really cater for the kind of audiences and the communities that we've got, so that they know that they can come to our event and it's going to be that they belong.
And so I just wanted to quickly touch on, have you seen an uptick in the fact now you're personalizing things? Are you using a benchmarker before and after? What results are you seeing as a result of this personalization?
Yes, so basically in 2025, my average open rate was 16% and my click-through rate was 11%. And I'm already seeing an average of 23% open rate, and 12% click-through rate. So, I mean, I feel like with the clicks, it's harder. Obviously, we're still quite far away from Confex, so the intent isn't always there yet. But definitely for more of the content pieces, like the summer reset guide, that had a massive increase of a 23% open rate.
Congratulations, that's fantastic. I'd like to just see if that chimes with everybody else. Looking at that broad personalization approach, Dorota, what's been happening at some of your events with personalization? What have you been impressed by with some of your teams?
Personalization. I personally started with doubling with the personalization already 12, 13 years ago, when I was involved in the organization of the International Construction and Architecture Fair. Actually, back then it was named only International Construction Fair, and after my redesigning of the whole strategy and personalizing the event for the audience, we gained, and that was one of the, in my opinion, one of the biggest results of the campaign. We gained the biggest architectural partner in Poland, the most important chamber of commerce for architects, as a partner, and we renamed the exhibition itself to Construction and Architecture Fair. What I mean by that is that we treated the construction exhibition way back in the past as just a exhibition for everyone involved in the construction. We never thought about tailoring and designing the content, the space, the whatever is presented at the exhibition itself to the most important target groups that are visiting the exhibition. So my first My first, I would say, approach to personalization was dividing the audiences not specifically to personas and as detailed as Gina did it at the beginning, but that evolved for the future. So my basic personalization was division by the segments of the clients. I identified 4 key segments within different geographic regions, and we designed and tailored the whole content for the event for the specific groups. My focus was the group of the architects who were basically very much forgotten in the process of the construction and designing. And I decided that this is actually the most important group for the industry, to which we need to design specific content, specific spaces. We need to work together with the exhibitors so they are prepared and able to deliver all the information architects are needing from the construction materials producers. So what I did, I completely redesigned the space, the floor plan of the exhibition itself, divided into sections that were connected into so-called strada di architettura. So definitely personalized the routes for architects through the event. The whole communication with the exhibitors were focused from the beginning that we are focusing on architects. You have to be prepared. You deliver as context so that we have the information and content to forward then to architects. The second part of the personalization was what Gina said, was actually naming, personalizing each and every email and all the printed materials, which we actually did back then still, to names and addresses and so on, which is very basic, very generic, I would even say, form of personalization, together with the personalized invitations to the exhibitions. But we decided to invest quite a lot of money in that, also bringing respective or relative relevant speakers to the stages, 3 different stages for the architects. And that actually raised the attendance of architects year to year by 70%, which was for the exhibitors really surprising and created the way for further personalization for the next years. So that back then we created a basis for this strictly B2B event with no consumer focus, to bring specific groups with dedicated content, with dedicated space arrangement, with dedicated personalities that those architects want to see. We didn't actually use any technology for that back then, but right now we, of course, create personas for architects depending on their focus on design, in which kind of designs they are specializing in, whether this is housing or the infrastructure or any other designs. And we try to give them relevant and specific content for those actual people, inviting them to Budma, which is still bringing a lot of effect. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I challenge anyone who's watching this webinar to use personalization to completely change the name of a show. It's like,
yeah, that was, for me, this showed how important this group, this forgotten previously group, was to the industry, because the feedback both from the exhibitors and the visitors was really amazing.
Well, yeah, when we started this chat and I thought about this webinar as a topic, I was thinking, well, it's all about technology, isn't it? And what I've learned from you guys is that, often personalization isn't about technology. It's not about AI. It's actually just about really lateral thinking and about how you can reach your participants in the right way. Rachel, I'm going to come to you. What have you been seeing around personalization on your tours around the world?
From our side is about the marketing and the messaging and who's the delivery, who is the person delivering that message to that audience. And you're talking about, how to attract the right people and attract people similar to them. And in our case, what we're doing with our clients is essentially, with the rise of AI, yes, there's AI and it's automated messages and all that stuff that you can now see right through it. There's even an increased need for personalization and humanization of the marketing message. So for us, the people who are part of the event, so in your case, Dorota, maybe like the architects that you're talking about, in Gina's case, the C-suite. So if they are the carrier of that message and they're also showcasing or talking about their experience and why they're going to the event, they're going to attract other people similar to them. So that's an easy lift in order to kind of maximize and multiply the people that you want to bring into your show. So in some cases, for example, like one show, Newtopia, for example, they did their whole rebrand of the event itself, but also they created different spaces. So the show floor had four different neighborhoods. And the neighborhoods were grouping different types of exhibitors for products, whether they're sustainable product or beauty product or whatever. They kind of group them by types of products. Now, getting the exhibitors to promote those also, so that they have people, if they're interested in this particular kind of industry or product that you want to see, well, you have to come to this neighborhood. But what the exhibitor is promoting is that, come see me, I'm in this neighborhood, and we're driving traffic to dedicated landing pages. So you do all these campaigns, but you have to send them specifically to kind of carry that message all the way to their registration. So when they come here, if they're interested in sustainability product, they're going to a page that's going to talk just about that specifically and know what they like about that. So it's really important to dissecting and personalize the communication by the people, but also by the interest and what people are interested in, and try to grade these peers. I mean, we go and I see events, more and more. If the organizer is not doing it, is the people doing it. So they create their own communities. We've been to events, we create our own WhatsApp groups, and we just bring in our people who are similar to us, and we kind of go together as tribes. So it's personal. They're creating their own personalized journey in a way with the people that they want to be with to bring them there. So facilitating that, I think, will be really, really key in helping drive more people and make it more personal.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's so many different ways to cut personalization and do it well, but it doesn't always need technology. Let's just change gears a little bit. I'm going to share my screen. Is my screen sharing? I wonder if it is.
It's starting.
It's starting. Maybe it's starting. It's a message from our sponsor, if everyone can see that.
Yeah.
Great. So the next question I'm going to come to you guys, and you can prepare it while I'm giving my big sales speech for our next webinar, is how do you do personalization on a budget? That has come up several times. People have asked that question. So while you're all coming up with the answers for that, I'm just going to promote our next webinar. So a message from our sponsor. The sponsor is Grip. Next webinar is coming up on the 24th of July. We have got the world's best event creative director, Robert Dunsmore. He's going to solve your event experience challenges live on our webinar. So if you scan that QR code, register, fill in what your challenge is. Is it a problem with your registration queue? Is it your catering? He will come up with some crazy, innovative, creative ideas, and you get all of that creative genius for free. You don't have to pay for it. He will give you all of that. Either go on the Grip website and register, or register here with a QR code. Okay, while this is displaying, I am going to say, Gina, tell me about how people can do personalization on a limited budget, because I know you guys are using ChatGPT, you're using AI, you haven't recruited an army of personalization experts.
Yeah.
How do you do it for low cost? And I need the actual steps here, because we're going to give people actionable information. They can go away and use this information tomorrow in their jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we use a custom GPT, which I think is roughly I actually don't know what that's that's above my pay grade. I don't know how it is, but I can find out and I can send it afterwards to you so that you can find out what it is. But yeah, we use a custom GPT on ChatGPT, which is basically you put all the information in there in the back end, and it's just basically like a couple of Word documents. It's a PDF with our like strategy, a PDF with our sales brochure in there. It's a PDF with last year's report in there, so that it can pull all the data from these documents. And then basically what it does is in the front end of it, you start these chats like a normal chat GPT query. But the way that I do it, that has saved me so much time and has saved me a lot of kind of effort, and time is money, has been that like I'll have one chat specifically for all of my social posts, so that like it'll basically bulk do all of my social posts for the month because I've done all that plan already. And then I'll add it in and it'll do my captions for me in my tone of voice that I've already pre-given it to them before I kind of made it. And then it will make all my like captions. And then if I go in and I change some of those captions, it'll like because it's one chat, it'll keep updating and keep refining what International Confex's tone of voice is and what it should sound like every single time. And I have one chat for all of the social posts. I have one chat for all of the emails. So like all the email copy that I'll have, because it has all the personas, it has all my tone of voice in there. It knows exactly when I'm referencing certain things, exactly how to write it for like what their challenges are, what their pain points are. It has all of that information in the back end so that the front end makes it as seamless as possible, so it takes the least amount of time as possible. There's also a full like chat for like the marketing plan. So if I'm like, for instance, at the minute, I'm currently redoing all my association partners, which is another budget kind of hack, is that actually relying, like Rachel said, on your network. Yes, obviously for your speakers and your exhibitors, but also your associations and your, the small communities. Like Diversity Alliance is a great partnership that we've kind of cultivated over the years. And so they'll be not only be able to like reshare our event and share it with their community, but and make it personalized for their community, but also we'll do a fringe event for them and then have it on our website as a fringe event and on Grip, so that like then we can kind of have it as a new track, and then like kind of be able to like let people add it to their personalized agenda for the day, so that the full kind of pre-event marketing to on-site marketing is and on-site experience is all kind of as personalized as possible for our whole audience.
There's another example I would say also in terms of I love this ChatGPT thingy. And I've heard also some people put in their emails there, and you ask it also to give you like you do your A/B testing essentially there, and it's going to ask you and predict accurately which one is going to be most viewed and opened there. So there's lots to be used there. On that same vein too, what I've seen also something that the National Restaurant Association did is just a simple tweak on the registration and having a quiz to get more questions answered by the user or the people who are looking to attend, to share some of the things that they're interested in, what they're looking for, other than, what's your meal preferences and all that stuff, but something that they can use to customize their journey. And based on that quiz, then it will suggest to them the content that they should be going to see, the exhibitors or sponsors they need to go see that align with their interest. So it's an easy lift there in order to just like small little tweaks. Sometimes we don't think we have to reinvent the wheel or do a lot of things, but sometimes small little changes can make a big difference. Personalizing, the messages in the communication and the marketing, the button that you would have, instead of just hey, register, it's very impersonal, make it more personal, like, count me in, I'll be there, save my seat. Small little increment changes, I think, make a whole different aspect of it. And I'll finish with this personalization that we've done a long time ago too, if you want to talk about on-site also some activations that obviously you're building up the momentum beforehand in the marketing, but you need to deliver on the experience, because then they have to align together or else, it's misleading marketing. We've done something in the past where it was a show to reveal like the TV channels or different channels programs, like all the episodes. So it's all geared to ad agencies who will come and buy ads from these channels. So instead of being a trade show like your typical one, we recreated living rooms of the persona of the person who actually watches these shows. So if it's somebody like about history, so it's like a whole lounge area specifically for the persona of the person who actually sits in their living room and consumes that content. But instead of like investing all that money in getting all this furniture, there was a partnership done with IKEA. IKEA wanted to promote that and be able to showcase their stuff. So obviously they lend us the whole furniture. And then we went crazy and creating our little mood board for every living room, and then just brought it in and put it there. So it's like, it wasn't heavy investment. There was no investment. It was a partnership. So it's, working smartly and finding the partners that are also aligned with what you're trying to do and can create a big impact with that.
That's great. So yeah, get partners to fund your personalization. Fantastic. And Dorota,
Well, it's a win-win.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. I love it. Dorota, what have you seen in terms of low-cost personalization techniques?
To be honest, I haven't seen the low-cost personalization techniques because there is always a cost. To me, there is no such thing as a free personalization. Even when we have partnerships, there is always some kind of investment from one side on the other. IKEA would not be able to sell those furniture further, but they invested the money into putting as a partnership the furniture to fill in the room, which they will benefit from by promoting their brand, of course. But I think that there are ways to optimize personalization and maybe make them more affordable for us, given the level of investment. And when I think about this, it's technology definitely helps because it optimizes the process of personalization in a way. But when you really know what you want to do, when you know who you have or who you will have on your event and what kind of experience you want to deliver, then the designing this experience with the use of technology can be less expensive than maybe going around and trying to figure out okay, what can we do to satisfy each and every customer? Because we will never do that. So on one thing, when we try to focus on groups of our attendees, not individuals, and then when we use the technology to help that, then in my opinion, this is the best way to optimize the level of investment. For example, the event that we host alongside our gaming show, Poznań Game Arena, and I'm talking right now about the game industry conference. This is the business side of gaming that is happening alongside the consumer show, which is the Game Arena. And we know basically exactly who is invited to the conference, who is registering to the conference. We have built the personas for each group that we have. And we know that the main focus of the conference, beside the content and learning experience, because there is basically no inspiration at the conference, this is learning about gaming on the different processes of the gaming. So the most important, aside from the learning stuff, is our meetings. So we have identified several groups of people who want to meet with each other, and we enable them with the use of technology to meet with each other, to first of all, to give us the information during the registration process about what they are doing, exactly what they are doing, what they are looking for, what kind of level of professionalism they are looking for, what they are willing to do when they want to meet, and who they want to meet. So we have, during this event, we have actually 5 different kinds of meetings. And we facilitate the meetings between business developers for gamings, and they can meet with each other, search each other, talk to each other, and then meet on site the event. We also have the recruitment meetings possible, because this is the industry that is developing constantly, and the recruitment process is basically ongoing all the time. And actually, when we look at what the younger generations that are coming to the exhibitions, what they are looking for at exhibitions are the career paths. So this is also the response for their needs. Then we have the media meetings. We allow exhibitors to meet the press, and we also allow the VIP business the business attendees to meet the VIP media. That means that the biggest media that are coming to the event, which are actually international and local to Poland, but the national media that have a really huge how do I say this, reach. But the most important thing that we introduced last year, and we will be continuing, because the response was when we closed the meetings, the response was that people were still coming and wanting to join. We did not allow them then, but we will allow that this year, are mentoring meetings. Because we know that the young people are looking for mentorship. They are looking for people with much more experience in the fields they are interested in to help them solve the problems. So what we did, we asked all the business attendees, the experienced people, if they want to take part in the mentorship program as mentors. If yes, then we asked what problems they would be interested in solving, who they could meet, and when they will be available to meet. And we asked all of the other, I would say, lower level of attendees, people, do you want to have a mentor? Do you have a problem that need to be solved within the area of gaming? And we had a massive response. So I was actually personally coordinating the meetings, the meeting space at the event. And I remember there was one mentor, the guy who had the highest VIP status level. He was a speaker who was a VIP business developer participating in the conference. He paid for the conference, but during the 4 days of the conference, he basically spent like 6 or 7 hours at the meeting zone talking to people in the mentorship program. So that was, to me, that was incredible that the guy was willing to dedicate his time to young people to help them actually develop, evolve, and then personalize their journey at the event, but also in the industry. So this is the response with the meetings was we wouldn't be able to do it manually. It was for us, even the cost of technology was much more effective than doing this, any other way.
That's great. I mean, what I find really fascinating is that, you've used personalization for meetings, and you've got 5 different types of meetings based on different personas, which is quite impactful. And Rachel, you've seen similar things, haven't you, where real life personalization, like at C2 Montreal, using various techniques. So it doesn't have to be all singing, all dancing AI. You just need to understand each person's journey and what they want to get out of your event.
Yeah, exactly. So C2, my first time when I went there a few years ago, I was blown away that, when I was registering, it asked me, is this your first time? Do you want to connect with a concierge who would be able to guide you, help you with that? So I was like, let me try it. I put it. I was not expecting a real person to call me and actually talk to me and take the time to explain and hear what I was trying to achieve, what I was looking for, and actually suggest to me my journey and guide me a little bit into what I need to know before I get there. The need to know before you go sort of thing, that was a live person actually telling me all about it. So that was really interesting. This year when I went to, it was also fascinating to see, because they're really big on creating activations, and it's very dynamic the way it is. It's a small space, but every place is very thought out and designed in a way to enable connections. And for someone like me who is an introvert in phases, so when I go to these things, usually it's a little bit intimidating to kind of go into it and not know where to go. So you have different areas that enable people to kind of break the ice because you're doing something together. Speaking of IKEA, again, I think, I saw that they have an activation there. It was all mattresses all over the floor where people are just like chilling, lying down on their computer, on their phone, or they're doing meditation or doing something in that space. Another place they had was there was a cooking. There was an actual chef that is explaining all kinds of stuff. You're still learning something. There is the content being delivered, but in the context of actually doing something together, and we're talking to the people who are with you. Is one of the biggest attraction and biggest drive to get people to events. In addition to the content, it comes back to the connections and the people are you going to see there and you're going to be with. So creating these moments of connectivity that are around something that they're provoked in a way, but it's organic because you just walk in, you be part of it. Another one, we're doing yoga and sound bath, really like just relaxing, and then when we finished, I actually connected with the person around me, and then that became a connection and possibly a business lead. So it wasn't forced, it was natural. And the person who didn't want to be in these interactive type of activations, there are still the sessions that you can just go to and sit and listen to it, although they did not have any presentation. There's no slide decks. It's conversations. It's people talking and exchanging their stories, their wins, their challenges, all that stuff. So it's really engaging in that way as well. So it's really, personalization is not only like about, there's the marketing. Yes, you have the personas, the titles and everything, but there's also the behavior or the type of personalities of how people want to be at events and how to cater them, to give them different spaces that they can also feel comfortable to get the most out of that experience. That was, I thought was really interesting.
And what I thought was really cool about that example is how you allow people to personalize themselves. So you can say that here's all these things you could do. You choose which way you want to go. We're not going to put you in a box. You choose. We're just giving you the options. Talking about giving people options, Gina, you did something quite interesting with an AI chatbot, didn't you, for your most recent event in February? Can you tell us a bit about that and how personalization worked with that particular activation?
Yeah, we actually, for 2025, about roughly 3 weeks before, found this new supplier, and they were really I think they'd worked with the Clarion Gaming department previously, and this was the first time I think they were doing something in the UK, and whereby basically we would send our attendees and registrants the QR code to connect on a chat with WhatsApp to International Confex. But it was actually like an AI chatbot, so that they would basically be able to be like, right, well, I want to go and see some sessions on sustainability, or I want to see, is this speaker there? And it would just think, and it would reply, because obviously we put all the data in the back end of it, and rather than look more automated, it was more organic for this relationship between the attendee and what obviously looked like us, but actually it was an AI chatbot. And it was really, really interesting to see the positive responses that we had from other event organizers that were like, actually, this was really, really cool. I asked it for three stand builders that were based in Europe, and it gave me them. And there is obviously, as event organizers, there is ways to monetize it and stuff. But yeah, it was a really, really cool kind of extra piece of add-on that was just if they wanted to have a different way to engage with us, they could. It's all about making sure that people were included. And I think from an accessibility point of view, having it as on WhatsApp, that was really easy to use as well, just as an extra add-on for people, that if they were at a push. And then we also had the exhibitor version of it, and so that was also available to our exhibitors with questions if they had anything about the e-zone, or getting on site, or if they were right, is what time is my delivery person going to be there, is there was all these questions. And then if it couldn't be if the question couldn't be answered by the AI chatbot, it would immediately send a text to one of our ops team, and they would respond and get in touch. So that was really cool. And then we also had a version for it on our website I think we had 19,000 chats over for not for the 3 weeks, but for over the full year, for a different version of the chatbot, which was another AI kind of concierge, but that was just on the website. So that was really interesting to see what the people's queries were, because a lot of them were things like, can I bring my wheelchair, and is when what time does it open, and some of them were we're a bit like mean, but you know, you'll always get the odd person testing it out, and which is really interesting. But most of the time we were helpful, and then it would come through to us to filter and to answer any queries it couldn't answer.
Question for you, Gina, based on that. From all these 19,000 chats that you got, obviously they're asking personal, like it's personal requests or answers, or like they're looking for something. What are you doing with all this to adapt or update or do something with that for next content or marketing or website or even like the whole experience altogether?
Yeah, so
that's basically your survey. They're just
yeah,
asking you, which is really good. You want them to engage that way.
yeah, absolutely. I think for us, when we're like looking at the different personas, obviously that was kind of the question is how can we implement it? So that's kind of how the different, when we're redesigning the website, it'll be kind of a build your own adventure and you can choose between that. But obviously that FAQ is so important, I think, on the website. And I think that will bulk out a lot of the questions so that people can find out for themselves without having to ask the chatbot. But obviously there was a lot of questions that we thought people would ask that they didn't. And then there was a lot of questions that we didn't think they would ask that they did. So, I mean, it just basically provides us year on year to be able to keep answering those questions that we can never, we're like, oh my God, why did you think of that? That, you know, will always crop up that fascinates me. So yeah, there's definitely ongoing bettering of the support that we can provide our attendees and our exhibitors.
Well, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, all of this is great data that's feeding into your personalization strategy over time, which is really exciting. I want to change gears. The last thing we want to talk about is personalization pitfalls. So what are the areas where we might have had a personalization disaster and it hasn't gone wrong? And how do we kind of course correct? Dorota, you had something, didn't you wanted to share? It's like a therapy session, this. Fantastic.
Well, come on, no, let's not involve people in my personal how did you call it, pitfalls?
Yeah, I was going to use
the you're too nice.
We might upload this to YouTube, so I don't want to get a strike against Uncle Rick's YouTube channel.
No. Personalization is definitely and without any doubt very important. And it brings results in any way, in any aspect that we do the personalization, whether this is the event itself, the space, the content, engagement, we give the, personal value for the attendees. However, it can be a little bit dangerous sometimes when performed maybe in a hurry, maybe in a load of other works, maybe without necessarily use of much of the technology. And nothing learns like mistakes, and nothing makes people more aware of what they are doing than mistakes, sometimes expensive in my case, unfortunately. But I think that it is really important to share the can I use the word or no, because I don't know
F word
yeah. It is also important to share those F situations that can happen during the work. And actually what I did, I was personalizing materials not actually to architects, but to the construction companies, which I have identified for my activities for this construction and architecture fair somewhere along in the process. And I decided that I don't want to use at the beginning the digital channel of communication. I didn't want to send them email first. I wanted to send them the personalized invitation for the exhibition, with the information, what kind of content, what kind of space we are preparing for them specifically, depending on what kind of construction they were doing, whether this was housing or infrastructure or commercial or whatever other. I had done, I don't remember right now how many I had, but in total it was like 16,000 companies. And unfortunately, while sorting the database for the personalization, I missed a column, and I actually sent out 16,000 mailings to wrong people with wrong information, which I found out about this mistake a couple of days ago when we started to receive masses and masses of correspondence back to our distribution center. And to me, that was like a wake-up call. You know, this is really important when personalizing messages. You have to be really careful what you are doing and how you are doing, double checking and triple checking with personalization. And I mean personalization by name even. Yeah. So that was the situation I was in. I needed to rectify it as much as possible, so I couldn't afford to send out additional, the correct one invitation by mail. So I used all the digital channels. Unfortunately, with the GDPR and all the consents and so on, that was of course much less than I was able to reach by hand. So when personalize, do personalization, but be careful.
I think
That's
very
my
wise, very,
advice.
very wise words. I'm glad you got it rectified. Rachel, Gina, do you want to join our personal therapy session on personalization F-ups?
I've got many. I can go first, Rachel, if you want. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously as a team of one, they're doing a lot of the delivery. I do rely on my other marketers who work within MASH to kind of really be like, even the littlest things like you're saying, like Dorota, like the names, obviously we don't do a lot of kind of sending out printed materials, but very recently we sent out an email about the upcoming event supplier awards and hosting the venue in London, except I forgot the word London in the email body, and then sent it out and didn't I didn't put a geographical reduction on the data, so it actually sent out to the world. so all the venues that fit the parameters. So I obviously put it for venues that could host us, that had the capacity, but Dubai was in there, we had Europe in there, so we had about 10,000 emails that went out to different venues, and we had about 350 replies to go through that my ops team were not happy about. Yeah, I was I'm really sorry, it's actually in London, there was no interest here. So yeah, there was definitely some instances of some personalized partnerships that kind of preemptive, we're really glad you're interested in Confex, but not this time. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of double checking and relying on your team, and actually sometimes it's just being organized enough to do it in advance and sit it out and wait it out and then come back to it to kind of really be actually this is the right data set, this is the right kind of terminology and wording and copy, this is the right graphic that you want to use, and this is the right URL or UTM link that you want to send out with it. Yeah, sometimes it's just being organized enough to kind of be patient with the process.
I love that. So basically, if you're going to do personalization, triple check it and go to bed, and then the next day deliver your personalization activity once you've slept on it. Brilliant. I'm just sharing my screen for my next webinar, which is 24th of June. Sorry, 24th of July. That's my personalization mistake. Caught you all out there. And scan it. Do whatever you can. Come and join. It's going to be great with our event director, Robert Dunsmore, who's going to solve your challenges live in our webinar. Okay, the last thing for me to say is just, guys, can you tell us how people can reach you? Dorota, if people want to talk about your personalization tips and how they can find out more, maybe ask you some questions, how should they get in touch with you?
I think that the best way would be through LinkedIn. I'm available. I'm at LinkedIn, active at LinkedIn. So just feel free to reach out. I would be really happy to talk, to brainstorm, to tell you more about my experiences, what I do within the Grupa MTP and maybe UFI, and yeah, LinkedIn. Dorota Walusz.
Good. We'll connect with you on LinkedIn. Rachel, how can people get in contact with you?
Same thing. I live on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. Always happy to chat or hop on, have a virtual coffee anytime. I'm available.
And Gina, is it the same for you? Is it all about LinkedIn, or is it a personalized email sent to your inbox?
Definitely LinkedIn. I'm Gina K, or gk@mashmedia.net. Drop me an email.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much to my amazing panelists. Lots of brilliant information there. I'm off to go and personalize every single Christmas card to everyone, and I'm going to sleep on it until December the 12th, and then I'm going to send it out. But no, thank you. You've all been amazing. I've learned a lot, and yeah, we'll see you on the next webinar, and do come along to Grip's next webinar, which is 24th of July. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening in, and thank you to our panelists for joining, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.